Where is he? He's underneath the camera trying to turn his confidence monitor on because for some reason it turned off. Here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. Nothing like getting everything together at the last possible. Actually, it wasn't a last second. It was just one of those. You know, there was a lot and stuff to do, but I'm here now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another PhotoJoseph Photo Moment, and today we are talking about this fancy little case here that is quite interesting as a way to store your ATEM and take it on the road with you. Now, a little bit of a background on this before we get into it, but before we do that, let's just talk a little bit about the chat and see what's going on there. Do give me a quick little shout out in the chat room. Let's make sure that everybody can see and hear as they should be able to. I do believe everything is working. I see meters bouncing where I should. I don't see things bouncing where I shouldn't. And I do think we're actually live and on the air and properly engaged today. Whew, a lot of little running around at the very last second there, but that's okay. We've got it. We'll check our camera angles too since we're here. Why don't we just make sure that camera A and camera B, the overhead, the shoulder camera, which we might need, might not, and the close-up camera are all working. I just realized I forgot to rename one of my buttons, but that's okay. I know where I'm going. So everything looking good. People are saying epic. People are saying good. Let's bring up the chat. Let's hit the chat button, bring that up. And that was earlier asking about music. Someone had, everything is working. Well, that's what we want to hear. That is definitely what we want to hear. There is a long delay. In case you were like wondering why is there such a long delay, it's because of the 4K. I'm streaming in 4K. If you are watching on a, something bigger than a phone, switch it into 4K mode, get that full 4K experience. But it does look like everything is good and people are saying so. The 4K system does have quite a long delay to it. I think, yeah, if I turn it down, so if you've ever streamed live on YouTube, you know there's different settings for like lowest latency and then a middle and a long, I forget what they're called. But if you turn them down from anything other than the standard, then I can't do full 4K. And that's kind of what I want to do. So it's just the way it is. So looks like everything's good. The coffee's travel box. The coffees, this is for the coffees. I'm sure this is one way to take your coffee. Hey, we have the creator of this. Freddie is in the chat room. Freddie, please say hello so I can pop you up on here on the screen and everybody knows who you are. We want to make sure that we are getting you guys connected with him in the event that you do want to have one of these made. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep scrolling back through the chat. Someone was asking about ATEM. What does ATEM stand for? I'm glad that Eric had the answer for us. It is, yeah, it's this Egyptian thing. The Egyptian sounds right, but autumn. ATEM, autumn meaning completion, complete or finish, complete one. There you go. It's an odd thing, isn't it? Everyone's like, it must stand for something because it's all caps, but yeah, it's kind of a made up thing. They just like randomly went for it. Who knows? It's been around for a while. We are saying 25 to 45 seconds typically. Oh, that'd be good if it's that short. Oh, I forgot. Oh, darn. I was going to stream today's show everywhere. I forgot to set that up. Oh, well, next time. That's okay. 4K with more latency, no problem, works for you. Freddie, are you here? Oh, there you go. There's Freddie. All right, that is Freddie. Freddie is in the house. Freddie is the maker of this here case, and his links are all down below. The product pages for a bunch of them are all down below, and there are a variety of these cases available, and he will even make custom ones if you know exactly what you want. It takes time, obviously. You'll go back and forth the design. Obviously going to cost more, but you can have a custom one built, which is pretty cool. So let's get this thing rolling, shall we? We got Freddie down there. Let me turn off something on my monitor here that's bugging me. There we go. And yeah, let's just dive into this. So let's start with what this thing is. So the whole idea behind this is it's a case to transport your ATEM, but not just, oh, I'm going to put it in a case and then take it out of the case when I get there, but the case is a complete storage and never take it out, plug everything into the case solution. Plus, you can have other things built into it, such as a monitor, such as a stream deck, such as a hyper deck. There are a variety of different cases that are already designed, and they can all be this all-inclusive, open it, plug in power, and you're ready to go kind of solution. So this guy right here is basically fresh out of the box. I have not yet hooked up the ATEM, so we are going to see what it looks like on the inside, explore all the ports and everything, and we're going to put it together, because why not? It's what we do. So, yeah, with that said, let's dive in, shall we? So this one is, I don't know the model number. The case, it's funny, this has a case name on it, but that's just the case. That's not like this thing. But this one is for the ATEM Mini size, and you can obviously hook up any of the ATEM Minis to it. And if we look on the back, let's start with the outside. Because it has pass-throughs for all the ports, and you'll see that once we dive in, you can see that you can connect, let's go to that close-up there, your cameras to the case itself. So there's pass-throughs for your HDMI output, your 1 through 4 inputs, and then your mic 1 and 2. That is on the back of the case. So if let's go to the wider angle, that is the back of the case here. If we look, so this side has nothing on it. This side, on this case, let's get that into frame, there we go. This one has your ATEM controls, so your Ethernet port, your headphones, and then your USB-C. And then I think we skipped it on the back. On the back, yeah, there we go, there's the power port as well. So everything that is on the ATEM, all the ports that are on here, so we just went through HDMI out, HDMI in 1 through 4, the 2 microphone inputs or audio inputs, USB, ATEM control, and power, they're all here. So all of those ports are replicated, which means, once again, the whole idea is you don't take this out of the case. It is a permanent installation into the case. I mean, not permanent, you can take it out, but the whole idea is you leave it there to work with. If we open this guy up, actually before we even open it up, you'll see on this one, these are kind of some of the extras you can have on there. This one has a couple of cold shoes on here for anything, whatever you want to mount. Another monitor, you want it on a light, you want to put a microphone, whatever. It's just a place to mount things. These cases are the whole kind of watertight cases, but I think once you put HDMI ports on there, it's no longer watertight, so don't go swimming with it. But it is extremely solid, and it is one of those cases that are designed to take a beating. Be gentle. It's your baby ATEM, but, that's what it's for. Okay, so with that said, oh, and they come in all kinds of cool colors. I love this neon green. That's pretty sweet. So let's just open her up, shall we? Let's go for an overhead view here. Let's get this thing into frame and open the big old latches. Big, tight, stinky latches on there. Open that up, get out the styrofoam, and what we have here is a hole to put our ATEM in. We'll get into that. And all of the cables that are in here that we are going to connect. If I turn this around this way, you will see that there is also a monitor in here. So this one has the monitor built into it, built into the lid. I would imagine they probably all do. It's kind of not a whole lot of point of doing all this if you're not going to at least have a monitor in there. But you will see in a moment that there are models that have other slots, other holes in here for other things. In fact, why don't I roll that now? So Freddie sent me a bunch of pictures and a couple of little movies. Let me just roll this so you can see what this thing can look like. So there's one with a Stream Deck in it. So there's the Mini with a Stream Deck. There's another angle of that. You can see there's fans on there as well. So it has its whole own internal cooling system. I think that's the same one that I've got here with the 4 ports on the back. There's one with the Extreme in it. And you can see as well that one has ports on the top. So the ports can be on the back, on the top, a variety of places. It's another view of the one with the Extreme. There's the Extreme with the ports on the back, so tons of different ports there. And there's another view of the Mini. That looks more like the one that I have right now. He also makes a rack mount conversion kit, essentially the ability to rack mount your Mini. And then there's one with I think that's a Rodecaster, I believe, sitting next to it. And, oh yeah, and then he can also do one with built-in converters to XLR into SDI. So if you want to have that in there, you can. And this is just a little video of his laser cutting machine just to show how these things are made, the precision in which the components are cut out. So there you go. You can see how that whole thing works together. Just a fun little movie clip that he sent over. But yeah, pretty slick, right? So that's really cool. So you've got real precision. You've got a lot of different ways that this thing can be configured. And yeah, let's build it, shall we? So I'm going to just flip this around and go to this view so you can see in here the different cables that we've got. They kind of come all bundled together. We're going to unbundle these and start plugging them in. But you can see in here the TV cables, that would be our output. There's the USB and so on and so on. Now, one thing about this ATEM that you do need to know, because this is the Mini and it only has a single HDMI out port, you can choose to have the HDMI routing, the HDMI out routing to the HDMI out on the back, or you can choose to have it routing to the monitor. The monitor doesn't have a pass-through. That would require a much higher-end, more expensive monitor. But he does give an option, and this one doesn't have it, but he does give an option to have a splitter so that your single HDMI out can go to both the internal screen and to the external out here. Of course, if you're using the internal screen, you're probably using that for your multi-view. So it doesn't make as much sense to have a pass-through, because why would you want your multi-view going out the HDMI out as well when you've already got a screen here? But you could, right? That's an option. Now, of course, on the larger cases, which will hold the ATEM Mini Extreme, which has dual HDMI out ports. There you've got kind of a more ideal setup where one of those ports would go to the monitor and the other one would go to an HDMI out, so you can then plug that into, to whatever you want. So just some options in there. So there is going to be one extra cable in here because he supplies both options. You can go to the internal monitor or you can go to the external port. Of course, I'm going to go to the internal monitor because that's a cool way to do this. So let's just start putting this together. Oh, let's actually, before we do that, go through the rest of what's in here. So it comes with a power supply. There we go. It comes with its own power supply because the power supply that comes with the ATEM is not going to be sufficient to power the ATEM and the monitor. So he's got his own custom power supply that, of course, will drive both. So there's that. And then the last thing is just these little ports here, or little, what do you call it, little bag here with some things. I know that scene is a little bit bright right now because it's brightened up for when we're inside the case, but just deal with that. So these are a couple of little clips. Let's see, maybe I'll go to this view. A couple of little clips to hold the ATEM in place, and then it comes with a tool to attach that. So that is the setup. So we don't need that. We don't need that. And let's start building it, shall we? Actually, before we go building, let's take a quick look in the comments and see if there's anything that we have missed or want to bring up before I dive into the actual construction. Let's see here. Thomas K. in Berlin, awesome. Let's see. Oh, cool. So here, let's bring this up. Shaggy Historian says, I was going to tell Freddie congratulations over Facebook, but glad he's here. Love the work he does with these cases. Excellent. I hope that means you are a happy customer. That is awesome. Someone says, will you ship to the UK? And Freddie says, well, yes, I will ship anywhere. So good to know. He will ship anywhere you like. Did you ever see the case that Caleb built? Looks like yours is pretty much the same principle. So I'll let him respond to this. I think, is that, oh yeah, see, Freddie says he responded to Facebook as well. So I think that, there's a few different companies doing, a few different people doing cases like this. Yeah, Caleb Pike had done one on his channel a while ago. I don't know, who came first, the chicken or the egg. I don't know, but there's multiple cases out there. There's other companies doing them. Freddie's not the only guy, but Freddie handed this thing to me over at NAB, and it was a beautiful build, and I liked it, and I wanted to show it to you. Now, Freddie he's not a big company. It's Freddie. He's in his basement doing these. He told me that his family helps out with the construction of these. So he's basically a one-man band plus the wife and kids when he can get them to help. So, it's cool to support someone who's just building something literally in their garage. Who knows, one day maybe he'll be some massive company, but for now, that's what it is. And that's kind of cool. I dig that. I appreciate that, Freddie. Good on you. That's pretty cool. Shogo Productions is asking how much. So prices are obviously going to vary depending on the case. Take a look at the website linked below, and you'll see the price options in there. There's a bunch of different ones that you can choose from. The connection passed through where the rubber reached the mode for any case build. True that. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Like the attention to detail, aesthetics of the pass-throughs. Don't see anything missing. Best part, I don't have to drill or cut the thing myself. That's kind of the idea, right? Why do you want to do all this yourself when someone else can do it for you? Well, here's a good question. William asks, if traveling, do those back ports have a cover to protect them? That's a great question. This one did not. Let's see what Freddie has to say about that, but that does sound like a good question. Power supply for the win. Oh, someone from Puerto Rico. Awesome. And Emerald saying, good thing that PSU, the power supply unit, isn't a wall wart. Easier to replace the mains cable to match whatever you need, whatever country you need. So that's a very good point. So what he's saying is that the mains, the AC power adapter, is not a wall wart, meaning one of those things just plugged directly into the wall that would have US or UK or whatever plugs on them. This is a standard, I'm going to assume it's a 110 to 240. Yep, 110 to 240, so you can use this anywhere in the world. So that means all you have to do is replace this cable, which you can get at your local hardware store for $10 with whatever nationality you need, instead of having to put a big adapter on the end. So that's very good. Good point. I'm glad you raised that. I hadn't thought of that, but that is awesome. And Shaggy saying this Friday's work, especially given the laser cutter he uses, is fantastic. Wonderful. Glad to hear that. All right, let's build this thing, shall we? So let's go to the top view here and open this guy up. So now I know the other view is bright, but this is such a shiny black, so black that I really had to raise the shadows on this camera to be able to see it, but we've got it. So again, here's our cables. There's a bunch of cabling inside that we're not going to, I don't want to take this thing apart to show it to you, but it's all obviously tucked in over there. There's the power supply button there. And let's just get a closer look of the monitor too. So you can see the monitor, HDMI in, audio out, and this is USB power. Or power rather. Yeah, that's power, HDMI, and audio out. This is interesting. Actually, I should have pointed this out earlier. So you got a monitor, which has a headphone out port, And if we go back to the front of this thing, or the side rather, it has a headphone port, which is a bonus because this does not have a headphone port. Until you get into the Extreme, you don't have a headphone port, which means that you have to hook up an external monitor to monitor your audio. Well, hey, look at that. He's got an external monitor. So because of this rigging, the audio is coming into this display. It has an audio out port. He's routed that into the headphones port. So you actually gain a headphones port that you wouldn't normally have just with this rig. Like that, okay? Excellent. All right, let's get into it. Let's start plugging this thing in. Put that back into place. And I got 2 bundles of cables. Again, I'm going to not use the out cable. So you see they're all labeled on here what number to use. This one is the out, the HDMI out. I'm not going to use that because I'm going to instead use the TV port here. So that's it. So let's just do this thing, shall we? I feel like I should have music playing right now, but I didn't. So let's, obviously if I drop these, it's not a big deal. So the out we're going to leave covered because I don't need it. There's number 4. So, and hopefully you guys can see this reasonably well, but this should go pretty quick. There's 4, let's do this in order. There's 3, and then there's 2, and then there's 1. Excellent. Mic 1 and 2, those have little numbers on them as well. There's mic 2, there's mic 1. All right, well, I guess that's that. So now we go to the second bundle of wires, and find the end of this thing there. Come here, you. There it is. Unwrap that. Unwrap that. There we go. And so again, the out we're ignoring. Keeps wanting to climb into my hand. Let's go for the TV one. So we'll take this guy and plug that into the HDMI out. And then there is the USB cable. Let's untangle these that I have now managed to twist up and plug that into the USB out. And then there's the Ethernet. And then power. Sweet. That. Oops, let's untangle that. There we go. Power. Excellent. All right. So that's that. Now, I just got to wiggle this thing into place here. Kind of push the cables around, nudge them in. There we go. And let's get that in. There's something caught in here. Oh, this, I'm going to turn that power cord around the other way so it's not twisted on top. There we go. Slides in. Perfect little fit. Now let's go ahead and put on these guys because why not? Let's see, do I have, where's this other angle? Will this angle work for this? Yeah, that'll work. It's a decent angle for this. So we'll start with this one because that one you should be able to see more clearly. So you can see this has screws in it. This feels like it's probably a 3D printed piece. Yeah, this is a 3D printed piece. Got little screws in here. There's holes there you can see. So we'll just set that on top and get that in. Let's see here. Get that. There we go. Got to find the right threading. Find the right thing. There we go. It's kind of hard to do this while simultaneously looking at the camera. I mean, at the monitor. But we're getting there. It is. All right. Got that into place. You can't really see it there, but there's vents on the side on here. So, like I said earlier, there is ventilation. Why don't I show that on this angle? Because I think, is there enough light to see that? Yeah, you can kind of see it. There we go. So there you can see the intake vents and then the fan. So it's going to be pulling the air up through there. Okay, that was a terrible shot. I apologize. Let's go ahead and tighten this down. As with any 3D printed piece, you do want to be careful with how much you tighten these things. Don't go crazy. Just tighten it by hand. Let's not break our new shiny toy. All right, and then other side, same thing. Get this one into place. And pay attention to what I'm doing here. Lock it in. Excellent. So now that ATEM is locked into place, going nowhere. That's kind of cool. I like this. I like this a lot. I don't think I'm ever going to take this out. I dig it. All right, so that's it. Now, just to kind of test everything, we'll make sure that it closes properly. It does. We'll latch that. Oh, it has little thumb locks. I didn't realize. So let's get that. There we go. Okay, so there is my ATEM ready to go, ready to travel. Excellent. All right, now let's get rid of all these extra pieces. Plug in some power. Plug in a camera. Right, plug in a camera, which I didn't really prep, but I think I can find one around here somewhere. And power, untwisty twisty. Let's see, where am I going to plug this in? Okay, got power on the back side of this desk. I suppose I could have done that in advance, but why would you do anything in advance when you're doing a live show? Please, by all means, plan to do everything live. It's much more realistic that way. That was sarcasm. Okay, let's plug this in. I'm going to go around to the front of the desk where I have a spare power port, I hope. And nope, can't unplug that. Ooh, do not unplug that. That would be bad. I know one of these is not plugged in anything. Where? Oh, there is an empty port. There it is. All right. Excellent. Plugged in. So the power port has a little cover. And yeah, if that question hasn't been answered, I will go into the comments here. Freddie, do talk to us about protecting these ports when traveling. It would be nice to have some kind of a little insert. I guess if you had like a 3D printed, obviously very precisely spaced, where it slid into each of the ports, or at least like into that audio port or into that HDMI into that audio port, it could kind of slide in. I don't know. Anxious to hear your thoughts on this. All right, it's plugged in. Oh, it's already powered up. The power switch was on, so let's go back to this shoulder view. You can see that it is on, and I guess what we really need to do is do the overhead view. This has got its power. I can hear the fans on there, and you can see that the multi-view is up on there. So, I mean, gosh, that's kind of everything you need. This is slick. This is a nice display, actually. That's a very nice display. So that looks fantastic. Well, I think what we need to do now is put a camera on this thing. Oh, I'm going to test out the power button. Let's go back to the overhead here. So the power button works. Excellent. I would imagine keeping this powered off while closed is probably a good way. You probably don't want to leave it on and close it. That would overheat quickly, so don't do that. Yeah, definitely don't do that. Is there a power cut? You wouldn't want an automatic power cutoff. I guess that's just a user beware kind of a thing. Because I was thinking that, would you want it to automatically shut down when you close the lid to avoid that? But of course you wouldn't, because if you accidentally close the lid, you'd lose your show. So yeah, I think that's just a buyer beware. You know, you got to be sensible about it. Don't put you're running ATEM in a closed case. And of course, at the worst, you forget to turn it off before you pack up and leave, you're going to unplug it, so it's going to lose power pretty quickly. So yeah, I suppose it's not really a concern. But, you know, that's good thing to think about. Okay, let me take a look at the comments, and then we're going to hook up a camera to this thing. Where are we? Scrolling back up into the comments. Let's see here. Definitely a good point on traveling with the case. Yes, I'm anxious to hear. So Freddie says, I have the inside port version for users currently traveling. So that's, yeah, I guess if you're going to be traveling to dirty places, then that is a consideration. Actually, Freddie, if you use the inside port version, is it still water sealed? I'm assuming you still have to have the power port unless that's inside as well. That'd be interesting. Please let me know in the comments here, Freddie, if the all inside version where the ports are interior, if that does maintain the water protection, whatever you call it, of the case. The water sealedness? What would you call that? Water, whatever. Anyway, let's see here. What else we got? Nice fit. Yes, it is. Yes, Eric says nice fit. Absolutely. Says a compression washer can maybe help protect the 3D long term. I think you're talking about on those where I screwed the thing in, possibly. Love that color. What other colors are available? Yeah, absolutely, Noel. Take a look at the website. There are a variety. I think there's a red and a yellow, and you know, it's whatever this company makes these cases in, I'm sure. But yeah, there is a variety. I like the green. This is a good color. That's a nice color green. Kudos to Nanook who makes this. That's a good green. I digs it. Yes, any color. Freddie says good idea. Okay, so good idea for the cover. So that's awesome. So there you go. Cool. Power switch, always a nice touch, definitely. Oh, there's a good question. So Emerald is asking Freddie, how many nits brightness does the display have? Okay, great. We'll look for that comment. I mean, I can lift it, obviously, but it's not going to rock. It doesn't feel off balance. I obviously can push it, but you'd have to have an elephant sitting here to not be able to push it. But yeah, I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to fall over. And if I do, okay, here, let's do this. We'll do this. Let's find out how far, let's unplug it so I don't jam the cord. How far would I have to push it for it to, okay, that far. Oh, and even there, it kind of rocks because of the shape of the case. That's cool. Cool. So yeah, I mean, a simple knock like that is not going to knock it over. I'll stop doing that because I know that sounds really good through the microphone. Okay, good question. Thank you. Love these questions. Excellent box that facilitates the logistics of our portable equipment. Hello from Armenia, Colombia. Awesome. Awesome. Armenia, Colombia. Excellent. Okay. I guess that's that for now. Okay, let's turn off the comments and let's hook the camera into it. I think this one has all very affordable, like $500-ish with the lens, meant to be a kind of fun little vlogging camera, really meant for social media stuff. It's, you know, flip out LCD. It actually has these cool microphones in here, these directional microphones, so that if you don't attach an on-camera mic, you actually get pretty darn good audio through it. And if you turn around, it kind of focuses on your voice. It's some Nokia technology. Anyway, nice little camera. The reason I'm talking about this, and the reason I like this camera, is because this is now my favorite recommendation for low-cost live streaming camera, because it has the two things that every camera needs to be valid for live streaming. That is clean HDMI out and a microphone input. Although, given how good the microphone is on here, maybe you don't need the mic input, but you need the mic input. So that is now, this is replacing the Lumix G7, which is a much older camera now, as my recommendation as the lowest cost camera for live streaming. I dig it with lens. It's, you know, like I said, around $500. It's got this, it comes with this little mini tripod guy, which doubles as a hand holding thing. Anyway, and yeah, so there you go. So now I just need to find a cable. Just thinking, I brought all this stuff on a trip. The cables are still over here. I brought all this stuff to NAB, and I haven't really unpacked them. I haven't finished unpacking. I'm usually really bad at come back from trips, and I just immediately jump into other projects and don't unpack. I kind of unpacked after this trip, but not completely. There's my cables. But not completely, because there's always something to do. But I will admit that I have been taking it easy the last week since I came back from NAB, because I worked my tuchus off leading up to it. All right, there's a long one. I've got a shorter. Here we go. Here's a short HDMI Mini. So this camera does have HDMI Mini, or micro HDMI, not full size. Obviously, the full size is nice to have, but there you go. Okay, we don't need this. We'll just use this, and yeah, let's plug this thing in. So we don't need that LCD flip around the back. We do need the HDMI. Cool thing about the way the HDMI out works on this camera as well, you know how on most cameras you go in and choose clean HDMI out or not? This one, it just kind of does it automatically, and when you touch the menus, it brings up the menu on screen, but then it on the out external display, but then they go away after a few seconds, and you don't get a display on the LCD itself when the HDMI out is hooked up. So it's just kind of a part of the low-cost bit of this. All right, so yeah, let's plug this thing into here. We'll go into input 1. Ooh, nice solid. That's a good port. Nice solid port there. I would say that actually that port actually feels more solid than the port on the ATEM. We'll do that again. Yeah, that's a solid. That is tight. Let's go into that view. That is a nice tight port. Now I've got to lean over and see this. Of course, you can't see me doing that. Let me try from this angle. Not that it matters that you see me do it, but that's good. I mean, that feels good. I like a good solid fit. I mean, that's important. It's important. Okay, let's go for, what's the best view for this? I guess what I should do, I'm going to change my, before I turn it on, I'm going to change my camera angle. Well, I guess I forgot to bring that up here, so whatever. We'll just do it like this, and then I will adjust this camera. Zoom out a little bit. Oh, that is a tight, I forgot this is a really tight lens, so I don't know how well this is going to work, but oops, let's lock that. We're going to find out. Okay, let's see. Power it on. Welcome. Please wait. The model of the camera someone is asking is a G100, Lumix G100. There we go. Okay, so there's the display. Camera is it still on? What did I do with my camera? Oh, crap. I'll bet the battery just died. So well planned. So well planned. Oh, no, it's on. Okay, let's try that again. So well planned. Ah, there we go. Camera's up. There it is. Oh, I think because, wrong angle. I think because, whatever. Now it's up. Okay, so let's go. Let's bring up camera 1 on the, oh, it's plugged into camera 4. Genius. Okay, I plugged it into the wrong one. But there you go. There's the camera. So there she works. You can see what she looks like there. And woohoo, yay, look, it's me. That's terrifying. But yes, it works. That's so cool. So it's on, like I said, it's on angle 4 right now. Anyway, so there you go. I mean, there's not much else to see that you need to know. It works at this point, right? That's what matters. It works. Okay, cool. I love it. I think this is really neat. I think it's really cool. Thank you, Freddie, for sending this out. I'm going to turn that off. Thank you for sending this out. I am excited to get to show this for you because I think this is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Hey, before I forget, because I am going to forget, I've got a little thing here to play to remind you guys about channel membership. If you join the channel, then you have access to a Discord. This is the main advantage of joining the channel membership. You have access to a Discord where we can all talk to each other. I'm on there pretty much all day. If I'm not actively shooting, it's open. I often respond to questions in there within a few minutes. So it's just kind of a great way to ask questions of a community at large. The comments, absolutely still leave comments on videos, but this is a great way, like, you know, in the middle of a build or something, you're set up and you can't figure something out. It's just a resource that is there, and a lot of people are there and online and available to help. And it's just a fun place to talk about whatever geeky stuff you want to talk about. So to join the channel, it's the YouTube channel. There's a little join button. You saw that animation. I should make this a longer animation. This is kind of a cool little thing I built, but it needs to be on longer. So channel membership and yeah, the little join button that you'll see up on there. And yeah, there you go. That's that. Did that play the music? It didn't. I have to, that's first time I've used this, obviously. That is plugged into, where is that input? I'm going to do it one more time with the music, because I worked hard on this. HyperDeck 6, there it is. That music needs to be turned on one more time. Oh, it's still not coming through. There's something weird going on. Oh, there it is. There's the music. All right, good enough. I'm not going to make you watch it again to hear the whole thing. Next time we'll play it. Anyway, so join the channel, supports the channel, help support this because, you know, ad revenue kind of blows, and, you know, you get to join the Discord, which is cool. Oh, and then look at that. Oh, we got a new member. Ooh, I guess I should bring this up. We got a brand new member. Thank you, Emerald Audiovisual, for joining just now. As I said that, I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much. Woohoo. Okay. What else? What else? What else? The music, you heard the music the second time, or at least part of it. Anything else in here? Let's see here. I believe that is everything. Thank you for all your assistance. You are very welcome, Freddie. So yeah, again, now you got the music. Yeah, I know it came later. Again, guys, if you want to buy one of these, check out the website. The links are all down below. Freddie has, like I said, a full lineup of different models of these. And if you really want something custom that you don't see there, he will do that. He will work on that with you. Again, it will take time, obviously, and it will cost more, of course. But if you need a very specific thing, you can do that. Like you saw in the slides, he's got them that will hold the Stream Deck. He's got them that will do the HyperDeck shuttle. I believe he told me he's working on a new one for the new HyperDeck shuttle, the new one that's designed to go with the Mini. So you've got all that stuff going in there. Pretty cool things, pretty cool stuff. So that is that. We'll roll this into a full-on Q&A. If there's anything else you guys want to ask or talk about, by all means, get them in there. It doesn't have to be related to this. We'll just spend whatever time we feel like spending left talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. In the meantime, I'm just going to clear this stuff off of my desk here, put this thing away, and if you've got questions, hopefully I've got answers. Get them up there. Get them up there. I do like my new setup. I'm kind of still getting the feel for my new setup here. I don't have quite everything configured the way it should, but, you know, we're coming together. We're getting there. We're getting there. Hey, the next video, the one that I'm currently working on now and should be the next one that releases, is about shooting open gate on the GH6 and how that is so valid for doing anything that has a destination or possible destination to social media. When you're shooting open gate, you're getting the full 4:3 sensor, which makes it really easy to do a 16:9 or a 9:16 cut out of the same footage. Super, super cool way to work if you know you're shooting for social or anything you're shooting could go to social. That's something you'd really want to consider. Oh, look, another new member. I guess I should bring that up. There we go. Thank you, Mount Strong. Thank you very much for joining. That is so awesome. I love the new members. That is beautiful. Thank you kindly. Why is it so hard to find the membership? I don't know. I think they've added it to mobile. For a long time, you didn't have it on mobile. If you're on mobile, I'm not even sure where that would show up. But on the regular page, it's just on, you know, you go to youtube.com/PhotoJoseph, you would see it right there. I'm going to check somebody else's page here on mobile and just see what it looks like on there. Whoops, helps if I help spell this right. Let's see here. Is it on mobile? And it doesn't look like it shows up on mobile. That's annoying. Yeah, I think it doesn't show up on mobile. So if you're on mobile, that is lame. Community, yep. That's too bad. That would be nice if they would do that. Let's look under the, nope, I don't see it on mobile anywhere. I'm looking at somebody else's channel who I know has subscriptions, and I don't see it there. So if you're on mobile, sorry, please head to a desktop near you. Oh, Shaggy Historian joined as well. Thank you. God, this is awesome. I guess I should have made that little animation thing sooner. I realized that I forget to tell you guys about it. So I figured if I build an animation, I have a button in front of me that says join. I can run that, and I'm going to do it again with the music. Let's see. Now it should move the music thing, and kind of a fun. I was having fun in Resolve yesterday doing this. Yeah, what you gonna do? Instagram is supposed, oops, wrong one. But says, everyone just jumped in, great case, like it, thank you. Emerald says, Instagram is supposedly moving to 9:16. I saw that as well. For the photos, that's ludicrous. I mean, it's hard enough to crop a landscape photo to make it fit into a square, much less a little bit vertical, the 4:5 aspect ratio they use now. 9:16, that's, just leave well enough alone. Mobile is an utter mess. Even finding the comment section can be a challenge. Mobile is kind of a mess for YouTube. I will agree with that. I will agree. Let's see here. Jason's welcoming all the new members. You guys rock. I love it. So good. Use Chrome in desktop mode. Might be a workaround to join. Oh, if you're on mobile. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that would be kind of annoying. Or just, you know, don't break your neck doing it. Just next time you're on a computer, just remember to do it. And I would appreciate that. And I'll see all of you guys in the Discord. In the Discord. By the way, when you join the Discord, it might take an hour or so for everything to refresh before you actually have access, but don't worry, it's just kind of an automated cycle thing. It just does its thing. Let's see here. All right, cool. Let's get some other questions up here. Jose says, what's a good lens that you would recommend for my new Blackmagic Cinema 6K? Awesome. Am I planning on using it for recording real estate videos of beautiful homes? Oh, thank you for providing context. I get questions all the time. What lens should I buy? And I'm like, for what? Okay, so for real estate, it's the Blackmagic 6K is an EF mount. I know exactly what lens you want. I have it. It's on another camera. Hold on, let me grab a cap. So, or just any other lens here so that I can protect the sensor over here. And come here, you. It's funny because I put this on here only to protect the sensor because I stole the original lens off of this camera. But here we go. Now next time I wonder where my fisheye is. That'll be it. So this is the one I'm going to recommend for real estate. This is the Canon. Come on. There we go. Focus. There we go. You can do it. There we go. The Canon EF 14mm f 2.8 L lens. This is a gorgeous lens. It is a very wide angle. So this is full frame, right? So 14mm full frame is wide. And I've done not a lot of real estate, but enough to know that you do want a wide lens, and a 14 is a good width for this. It is aspherical, meaning that the edges don't curve. However, because it's so wide, as soon as you tilt up or down, you are going to see curvature. But when you're shooting real estate, for all what real estate I've done, one of the things that I just absolutely insist on doing is keeping everything perfectly level so that all my lines are straight. It just drives me nuts when you look at real estate photos. It's like, it's all jaunty. And anyway, straight lines, good idea. So this lens, kept level, kept straight, will keep your lines perfectly straight at the edges. It looks beautiful. I have not put this on the 6K myself, but I've owned this lens for 20 years. I think I've had this lens for a long time. I think there's a Mark II by now. This is the original one, but anyway, great lens for that. I would highly recommend. Highly recommend. Oh, well, look at that. Makarao Sighting is also a new member. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Or you upgraded. Oh, even better. You guys rock. You guys rock. I love it. Thank you. Someone else is suggesting the 18 to 35 f1.8, the Sigma lens. Okay, that's a great choice as well. Almost as wide as this, not quite as wide, but you do get that zoom, which obviously can be handy as well. So excellent choice. I never think about the Sigmas because I don't own any of those. But yeah, that is a good lens. That's a popular lens, isn't it? Cool. And Emerald's saying you want to go as wide as possible for real estate. So yeah, this one will give you a few extra millimeters. So that's 14 versus that 18. So, What lenses do you suggest for Blackmagic Studio Pro cameras? Again, go to web for what context. Give me some context. Where do you want to use these? I will gladly give you some ideas. So the Studio Pro, though, that's Micro Four Thirds, right? Pretty sure. Blackmagic Studio Pro camera, I'm pretty sure that one's an MFT. Or they have two, right, they have two versions, right? Isn't there a Pro and a Pro Plus or something? Give me the mount. Format, give me the mount that you need. And, you know, context. On an ATEM Mini, is there a way to fix sync when audio is sent from the camera, not the audio input on the ATEM? There's no option to change latency as far as I know. but there is an option to change latency. Do I have an ATEM Mini online? I do. Okay, so I can access one. Let me switch my software over to that ATEM, and oh, I have an Extreme online. Why? Where? No idea. Okay, let me clean this up and just cleaning up my desktop so I can show it to you. Here we go, to the desktop. So this is the ATEM Mini Extreme. It is here. This little guy right here under the mic thing. See that little arrow that has a little 0 next to it? When you click on that, it brings up this mic input settings, and there's your delay. And so you can do up to an 8-frame delay. That is where the delay is programmed on the ATEM hardware. I think, does the base ATEM Mini have that? It might not. Let me see, I do actually have an ATEM Mini online here as well. Let's go to the ATEM Mini. This is the original, the very first ATEM. It does. Look at that. They actually do. I don't need that audio on there. Yeah, they do. They have that on there. So even the original ATEM Mini, so all the ATEM Minis have that. So there you go. That's how you program latency in. The alternative, if that isn't enough or whatever, you don't want to do it in there, the alternative would be to use some kind of external audio interface. That would have it, but built into the ATEM. There you go. And incidentally, if you're doing that, let me show you something else. I'm going to pull up a web page. AV Sync, I think that's right. Let me just test this. AV Sync, yes. Okay, PhotoJoseph.com/AV Sync. Where'd my computer go? I think that's right. Probably should have actually loaded it. Nope, that is not right. AV Sync Test. AV Sync Test. Maybe that's it. There it is. Okay, PhotoJoseph.com/AV Sync Test. On here, there's a bunch of downloadable AV Sync tests. This is what they look like. You have a little video that plays, and I have these at various frame rates, so let's make this a little bit bigger here. So you've got them at 23.98, 24, 25, 29.97, 50, and 59.94. These are, here's what they do. Let me just load up the one on YouTube. You shouldn't use the YouTube one for your tests, but just to show you what it looks like, this is what you get. This video plays, and again, they're at that frame rate, and this little dot thing moves around, and when it hits the 0, it beeps. I know you can hear that. So that's how that works, and then, stop. The idea is that you would download the appropriate frame rate that you need, put that onto a device like an iPad or a computer, or anything that'll play video with sound, and then when you've got you get in front of your camera, so let's say I'm using this camera and this microphone, which, you know, I am. I would then, I'm not going to pick it up, but I would hold up my laptop or the iPad, whatever, play that video, record, and just play for a few seconds and record for a few seconds. Then take that recording into your NLE, and very easy, you just drop that clip on the timeline, and you'll see the peak, the audio peak where it beeps, and you'll see where the sync should be, and then you just count the frames. Oh, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 5 frames off, and then you know that you have to adjust it by 5 frames. That's it. Super, super straightforward. I actually just used it on my own setup because I changed some things and I needed to figure out the sync, and it works beautifully. That's what it's for. So those are totally free. So PhotoJoseph.com/AV Sync Test. I should probably build a redirect to just AV Sync as well. Yeah, and then there's there. Just download them. Off you go. Enjoy. Cool. That's how you do that. Excellent. Okay. Thank you for your advice. You are quite welcome. Not on the input audio coming in from the camera, but if the audio coming in from the camera is not in sync, then you've got other problems because you can't sync that in the ATEM. I don't even understand how that would happen because your audio is going to hit your camera in real time unless your mic is some weird thing or you're passing it through some other interface that is adding delay. But once it hits the camera, audio and video are synced up and sent out over HDMI. So if you're out of sync through the camera, like if you hit record in the camera and it's not in sync, then you've got issues with your microphone. There's no audio delay built into any camera that I'm aware of. That's something you have to handle externally. And again, you shouldn't have to because the audio coming in is real time and will match the video coming in, which is real time because, you know, life. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but hopefully you can sort that out. William says, if doing a hybrid live event with live speakers and audience and Zoom audiences and bringing in Zoom guests for questions, how do you best avoid feedback back to the Zoom guests that are speaking? Okay. So I did a video on this, a while ago where I talked about bringing a Zoom caller into an ATEM show. And in there, one of the things I talk about is how you actually don't need to worry about that with that particular setup because the Zoom is so good at removing an echo that it will remove that and they will never hear themselves. So you just don't have to worry about it, which is great. On a larger setup, the way that I've got mine rigged up here, if you were here for last week's show when Aaron was on, we actually ran into that issue because I had done a new setup to bring a caller in, and that exact issue was something that I just, forgot about. And so we'd done all these tests, everything was fine, and then we went to do it live. We're 5 minutes before the show was going on, and we're like, he can hear himself, oops. So here's how I have that problem solved. Now, this is a very large scale way of doing this. You don't have to do it exactly this way, but this will hopefully help you to understand how it can be done. So here's the deal. God, there's a lot that goes into this. So I've got, he was coming in over a streaming bridge. That's how I was bringing his video to you guys. I guess that doesn't really matter here, but he was coming in over a streaming bridge. It would be the same thing if I was screen scraping and pulling in his Zoom feed. The whole thing here that I need to do is feed him audio that is not program audio, because program audio will include his audio, will include his own dialogue and potentially echo, so he's hearing himself. What I'm doing is on my mixer. I have a mixer made by Behringer called an XR16. They have different sizes. 16 is kind of a middle size. The XR16 has multiple auxiliary outputs. Each auxiliary output can have a different mix than the primary output. So I have an auxiliary output that runs to the computer that is the computer that's connected to Zoom, where he's, where I'm talking to him, where he's connected into. And that auxiliary output contains my audio, but not his audio, because his audio is being routed through the mixer as well on a separate channel. So all the audio is routing through the mixer, which means that I can do effectively a mix minus. I can send him anything that I want except for himself. So that's the way that I've got that set up. That is, if you need to return audio with what's called a mix minus, or you need to return audio where it has everything except for that person that is sending you that audio, then that's how you would have to do that. So it's definitely a bit of an extra step and extra work to do, but that's effectively how. So on my setup, let me think this through. I've got I actually showed it on the channel once. I've got this little HDMI USB interface made by Flint. It's called the Flint F4, I think it is. And it has two HDMI inputs and it has a line audio in. And so those two inputs I use on my desk. One of them is just my camera that is my kind of webcam camera. I mean, it's another BGH1, but it's there. It ties into everything else, but it's just a direct connection, so it doesn't have to route through all of the studio stuff. That's on one input, but then the other input is the program out from this. So it's what you are seeing right now. I can include the program audio with that, and if I'm just, I don't know, let's say I wanted to put this show onto a Zoom call, then like I'm doing a Zoom webinar and I want to do it from here, then that's all I have to do. I just send the audio over the HDMI and it works fine. But if I'm using it to send the video of the shows, to send the program to the caller, then I need to send them a mix minus audio. And the ATEM doesn't allow you to do that directly in there. So that's where that separate audio comes in. So I have another audio patch that's running from my XR, again, using one of those aux outs. It includes all the audio except for his own audio, except for the caller's audio. And that's just a line running into the line input on that little switcher. And so the way I have that switcher set up, when I go to camera A, input A, whatever, it is my BGH1 with its audio, so audio over HDMI, but when I go to input B, it is using the audio from the line in, and that way they get mix minus. So that's how I've got that set up. Bit convoluted, but that's what you have to do. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Am I going to test the new Hyperdeck Shuttle HD? I'm not. I'm not going to get that one because everything I'm doing now is 4K. It just doesn't have a place into my workflow. I don't need to buy it just to show it. Plenty of people are doing that. In fact, on the Here to Record channel, John just released a video on that, I think yesterday or the day before. So he did a full run through. Go check out his channel of just Here to Record and on YouTube, and you'll learn everything you need to know about it. Nice little product. Nice little product. Just doesn't fit into my workflow. Oh, Emerald's saying if the audio is not in sync, then you probably are using a GoPro. Interesting. That could be. That could be. For Udi, if the camera has a headphone jack, you could run a mic in and then add the delay. Right, but I'm assuming that's where the mic is. Oh, you could run into headphone jack, run it into a mic. Oh God, that would be interesting. Okay, so you're saying take the audio output. So if for whatever weird reason there's out of sync video and audio hitting the camera, you're saying take the audio out of the headphone jack and run that into the ATEM, into the mic in, and add the delay in the ATEM. Interesting idea. Very clever. I like that. Thank you, Brian. Brilliant. Although I still can't imagine why that would be happening in the first place. Very unusual situation. Thank you so much for what you do on the ATEM. Because of you, I own one. Awesome. I use Podcaster Pro with my ATEM Mini and have no problems with audio and video sync. Excellent. Very good to hear. That was the reason I got myself an XR18. Yeah, the XR18 is cool. I'll show you guys in case you're unfamiliar with it. Let me pull up the interface and you can see what that is. Let me just get this stuff out of my way here. Let's go to Mac View, connect to the XR. So this is what my XR looks like. You can see that's my audio on this channel. So the mix pre with the lavalier. So that is that's what you're hearing right now is the mix pre, which is my audio interface that I'm using, and the lavalier that I'm wearing. I also have a boom mic plugged into that, but it looks like I don't even know why that and whatever. And then this is the ATEM return, which you can see the levels are all the way down. And we're looking right now at the main output, which is what's feeding into the ATEM. If I look at bus 1, this is heading into a wireless headset. So I have a little UHF wireless, so I can take that. If I want to, let's say that I'm listening, I have a caller, and I need obviously to be able to hear the caller, then I put this in my ears. It's the audio out, the aux out from the XR that is going out to this UHF wireless is currently sending the ATEM program, which actually would normally not be, so I must have been playing with it because that would normally not be right because then I would be able to hear myself. But you can see my audio here is down to 0, so I don't hear myself. Their audio, the caller, would actually be coming through my computer. So here's an audio feed that comes from the computer, so that's where the caller's input comes in. And yeah, so that's how that works. And then we look at the bus 2 is sending to the Flint, that little interface on my Mac, and what's sending out to there is right now is just my audio because that's all I wanted them to hear. But if I needed to bring something else into there, I could send that to them as well. But that's how that works. So you can see the different levels as I jump between these. And yeah, so there's different outputs are all hearing different things. And that's how that whole system works. But that's the interface for the XR. It's pretty cool. It's rack mounted. Do I have a camera on there? Rack, no, that's not. I thought I had a camera on there. I guess it's not on here. Anyway, it's in the rack. Oh, I know, it is on there. I don't know if there's any lights on it. Let's see. Switch back to the switcher, go back to the right switcher, connect to the 2ME, and rack, studio rack. Is that it? Rack. That's it. Oh, wow, there's no much light on there. But anyway, and you can't even see it anyway. Okay, never mind. But just pretend we didn't show that. Why is that positioned like that? Who knows? Okay, onward. Other questions. What else we got going on here? For mixed minds, especially from a phone, you can also use an iRig 2 adapter. Cool. Found a tutorial on YouTube on the Podcast Meister. Right on. Which mix pre are you using? What are your settings? Okay, so I'm using a mix pre 3. Yeah, just a little one. The entire reason I'm using the mix pre is because of the noise assist plugin. It's like magic. If you were hearing the audio without the noise assist plugin right now, you would be hearing a lot more background noise from my rack. My rack is loud, and it's in the same room, and that's just the way that my studio is. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. So for live presentation, even for the recorded videos, I still leave the noise assist on. Noise assist is removing the background noise in hardware in real time, and it does a beautiful job of it. So that's why I'm using the mix pre. As far as other settings, I don't know. It's so it sounds good. What else to tell you? Super helpful. You are very, very welcome, William. Okay, we are to the end of the comments. If you got any other things you want to throw in there, get them in there quick. I just want to say once again, thank you to folks who joined today. You are awesome. Look at all these new members and an upgrade or two in there. So awesome. You guys rock. Thank you so much for supporting me. Emerald as well. You guys are the best, and I will look forward to seeing you in the Discord. When you set up your Discord, do make sure that you use your same YouTube name in there. I have a little thing in there that says, please do that, but just reminding you now so that I know who you are. It helps me in my feeble adult mind to remember these things. Alrighty. I think that's about it. Let's wrap this thing up. Thank you again so much, everybody, for tuning in today. Thank you, Freddie, for sending this out. It is a great case. I dig this thing a lot. He offered to send me a new plate, with a hole for the Stream Deck. I said thank you, but no thanks, because I'm going to leave this in here because I do occasionally do mobile rigs, and I'm going to want to take this as I do. But my Stream Deck has a home, and it's just going to stay here. So that's fine. But thank you, Freddie. Awesome. Great color, too. Beautiful shade of green. Okay, let's just put this here, and let's say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Oh, Keith is asking, is the fan quiet? I wasn't measuring, but it shouldn't matter if you're producing a show for somebody else on here. Having a little bit of extra fan noise shouldn't matter because you should be far away from them. But it is audible. I mean, I could hear it. So I don't know what the ratings are on there. I would like to assume that Freddie is using really good quality quiet fans. Freddie, by all means, in the comments, comment on that. But anyway, maybe he's got some measurements for you. I don't have a measurement. All right, chat off. Once again, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. If for whatever reason you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe, thumbs up this video, blah, 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 all that stuff. And of course, one more shout out. Don't forget that you can join the channel and become a Discord crew where we just talk about whatever in the heckers you want to talk about, which is fun. I see I'm going to have to build into that script to turn off my little, what do you call that thing, little bug in the corner. I have work to do. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.